You'll just see a screen with got it. So you can.
Yeah, so just hit got it, saying that you're okay with this recording today. We will pop the recording on our YouTube channel for you guys to view as many times as you like. Yeah, so today we're going to be making, Sally's going to be making a gluten-free bread roll. Diana is doing a loaf of bread. I'm going to do tortillas. And we've also got Laurette joining us, but she's just having a quick little issue that's going to make her a couple of minutes late. And she's going to do scrolls. So hopefully that will help get you guys inspired and give you some confidence to go forth and make your dough of choice. Anyway, oh, hang on, someone else in the waiting room. I am doing this from my phone today because my tripod broke for my iPad and everything's so small. Admit. I am just checking our registration list. Oh, God. Close. I can't get out of the list. Oh, my God. What am I doing? There we go. Yeah, because we had someone we think might be a bit dodgy and a bit spammy registered to attend this class. So I'm just making sure that I'm only letting in real people. All right. So who's going to go first? Who's ready? Sally, Di?
Go, Sal. Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see some faces that I know and know well. Hello, Vicky. Hello. Yes, Jenny and Angela, and also Tracy, Katrina, and one more that's on the screen who I don't know. So I'm making a gluten-free, grain-free roll. I love bread making in the Thermomix, and I actually do lots and lots of different styles, whether they're European, German loaves, but I actually am gluten-free, so I do love to share the knowledge I have about gluten-free baking. Is anyone on this Zoom today actually a gluten-freer or not? Well, I do know Angela has had these rolls before, and whether you are or not, they are still a lovely roll to make. So I'm going to get going because I know we've got quite a bit to go through, and I'll explain kind of a few things about the gluten-free baking as well as we go on. So I'm just going to start my cooking. It's called the gluten-free, grain-free rolls. And I've already got my oven preheated to 180. It does say conventional. I've always used fan force with this recipe, so it does work either way. I've actually got a baking tray lined with baking paper, but instead of baking paper, I actually use the Mix Shop rose gold trays with the oven liners. I honestly think these are the bee's knees. Make it so much more simple. I even pop all the dough onto this as well. So that's a 37 by 24 tray, but that's the one I'm going to be using today. And we'll get going with the ingredients. I'm just going to bob my screen because what I also love about these gluten-free rolls is there's only 6 ingredients plus water. So again, a lot of the times when we go to the shops and look at gluten-free labels, especially for bread, there's a million ingredients and things that often we don't know or understand the word, which means it can be quite a tricky one for your body to digest as well. Okay, so first is the nuts or the almonds we're using. So I'm going to pop those in. And as you know, we're actually going to mill this down, and the motor is quite powerful, so you'll see this all blended down. This is psyllium. So psyllium features a lot in gluten-free baking. And basically it's the outside of the plantago plant, but it's used usually as a fiber in cooking, but in gluten-free baking, it's an ingredient that you find a lot. And it's also, you can find it in the health food section of the supermarket. So again, I'm just going to now mill this down. So 10 seconds speed, 9. And I'll just show you how good that is as well, because the milling of the nuts to the meal, again, is another huge cost saver, Courtney, wouldn't you say, with regards to nuts and buying them?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it just means one less trip to the supermarket too. You can, as long as you've got those basics, you can make this yourself.
Yeah, so in goes my baking powder. That helps with the rise. Gluten-free, you can make it in the Thermomix, but gluten-free baking powder is a common one you buy anyway. The sea salt goes in, again, can be any salt, but good quality salt is important. And again, this one is using the turbo mode. So basically turbo is used for like chopping your nuts or dates, but in this case, it's giving it a quick blitz. And it's a great one if you've not used one already to sort of watch as well. So again, it's 4 times. So all I'm going to do is use my dial. 1, 4. And that will then just give it a quick blitz through. And then I'm going to add in my egg whites. So this gives the real rise to these rolls. And again, I've got 3 yolks left over, which I'll be using to make ice cream or hollandaise later on anyway. So it can be the other way around. In our family, we might make a hollandaise and then have the egg whites to make the bread. Okay, so the egg whites have gone in, and also in goes my apple cider vinegar. And again, it's using the dough mode. So generally gluten-free breads don't use as much dough, if any. It's a much shorter duration. So this is just a 20 seconds kneading time. I'll pop that on. Let's get my hot water for the next one. So the next step is adding boiling water. So I often have a jug, which I sometimes use my kettle mode if I've got my 2 Thermomixes on my bench. But I'm just full the kettle for the 250 grams that we'll use.
It's a really nice kettle.
I know, it's cute. Only holds about 2 cups of tea. Okay, so all coming together well, as you can see, like so. Now we're just going to add in the water. Again, just tearing, which makes life so much easier for measuring in the water. Now it's 250. I generally try and do 240. It's just my personal preference. I find they're a little bit easier to roll. And so again, I haven't yet, but I could change that up in my converted recipes as well, just with that little tweak I do. And I've just got, again, 1 more minute for the dough kneading run. I'll then show you how I'm going to sort of roll those onto the tray, and they're quite quick. But again, Courtney, if you want to move on to someone else just while to keep the motion going, it's up to you.
Yeah, well, I might get mine started because my dough
Sure.
needs a little rest.
Yep.
So I'm just going to. Oh, God, I'm so clunky doing this on my phone. Okay, I've spotlighted me and I've spotlighted Sally. Does that work for everybody else? Can you see us? Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to do the flour tortillas. This is on Cookie Dough. I've tried a few different tortilla recipes over the years, but this one's my favourite. Where's my scoop? Here it is. So I'm going to add in 500 grams of baker's flour. I usually just buy the 5 kilo bag of baker's flour and have it in my big plastic container here, because you know you don't want anything that shouldn't be in that bag to get in. Hello, Stuart Little. I've got one cruising around my house at the moment, so I'm very glad that he's not getting into all my stuff. I've got it all packaged up nicely in my containers. Okay, 1 teaspoon of salt. And 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Put the lid on. And that's just going to combine, mix together for 10 seconds.
Are you doing just white ones, Courtney, or green ones?
I'm doing white ones, but I'll talk about the green ones in a sec.
Cool.
So now I'm just going to add 80 grams of olive oil. It says white olive oil, but I've only just got extra virgin olive oil, so that's fine. Yep, nearly there. There we go. 80 grams. 250 grams of warm water. Now, I forgot that I needed warm water. So just hang on 2 seconds and I'll get warm water out of my tap.
So the warm water, so it's got that temperature so it can activate the yeast, I guess, isn't it, Courtney?
Yeah, but there's no yeast in this one.
Ah, right.
But normally, yes.
Anyone else had a go at making tortillas yet? You can say so in the chat if you don't want to come off mute.
Okay, so that's just going to knead now for 2 minutes. But yeah, what I do if I want to make green ones, which we call Hulk wraps in our house, is whack a big handful of spinach in as well. But I normally add the spinach in with the water and blend that up and then add the flour and everything else so that you get, you don't have any spinach chunks. It's nice and smooth if you do it that way. Yeah, so we have green wraps in our house sometimes too.
So Danielle's made them before and Angela's yet to have a go. Oh.
Use a tortilla press, so easy. I'm sure it is super easy. It's quite easy to do it without one too, but I guess you get a more a thinner and more uniform shape. We're going rustic here today. So yeah, that's cool. Sorry.
Did you say you blended your spinach with your water?
Yeah.
Oh, I've always done mine with my flour.
Yeah, but then it's kind of doesn't get as well. Maybe it does. I just like doing it with the water.
I get
do a
flecks though.
Pardon?
You kind of get like flecks through it.
Yeah.
Okay. So yours is just smooth and green.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'll try that next time.
I'll just put my dough onto my tray and you can watch as I'm rolling them out, and then Courtney and Di can keep going. So what I do is I just get all the dough out. Actually, I'll just bob that down a little bit more. Can you see that now?
Yep. Yes.
It's a sticky dough. It's much different to a normal dough. It doesn't behave like a normal dough. So once you get the hang of that, all good. But what I'd now do is it says 5 portions. Often we do use these for burger buns, and we'll do 4 because it makes big burger style buns. But I'm going to do the 5 today. I'm rustic too. So all I do, and again, Courtney, you can keep going, is I'm just going to wet my hands because it handles really well with a little bit of dampness on your hands to roll these. So I've got wet hands and I'm just going to rustically make. I'm so pleased you all love rustic here. Rustic rolls. I mean, I could still measure these out as well, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I could still use my scales and make sure they're all even to get exactly the same size rolls. So I'm just going to do this and yeah, pop them in the oven for 45 minutes. So keep going, Courtney, well,
my dough's ready and it's just beautiful and soft. You just, I don't know, if you've tried other ones, they can be a bit dry, but this is what I love about this one. Maybe it's got that little bit extra olive oil in it than some other recipes I've tried, but it's just so easy to work with. So now I'm just trying to get my Thermomat. Pop that out. Hopefully you guys can all see me. Like I said, I'm doing this on my phone today and I feel like everything's so small. Yeah, so just twist what you've got to do is twist that and your dough will release. You don't have to take the blade out or anything like that. So that all came out beautifully. Only a tiny, tiny little bit in there. And then we're going to shape that into a nice ball.
Just a question, Sally. When the recipe calls for raw almonds, does that include the skin, does it?
It does, yes. Usually with the Thermomix recipes, if it's another type of almond like the blanched, it will actually say it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Yeah, so now that's all wrapped in my Thermomat, and I'll just leave that on my bench to rest for 15 minutes is what it says. So if you don't have a Thermomat, you can pop it into a bowl and put a towel or something over the top of it. So that's me done for a little bit. Who's next? Oh, Diana is in the waiting room. Where'd she go?
Boarding in progress.
Oh,
Sorry, kids.
she's doing fancy stuff. A couple of views for us, aren't you? Because now she's in here twice.
You're on mute, Diana.
Sorry. Oh, I don't know what to do here. How did I do this last week?
You've got to make sure the volume's completely off on one of your devices.
Yeah,
It was.
unmuted one.
You've unmuted later. There we go. Is that working? Me or
talking.
Laurette? Laurette, are you good to go? Or would you prefer me?
I can if you want me to.
You go first. I'm just getting on my seeds.
You work out your sound because you're still getting an echo.
I think you get an echo when you're on twice.
You shouldn't though if you've got the volume down and unconnected to sound.
Yeah, on one device.
She's muted on both at the moment.
She's thinking very hard.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, I'll get going. I'm going to make some cheese and spinach, or 3 cheese and spinach scrolls. I'll pop the recipe in the chat once I'm finished here. I've made my dough in advance, just so that it was proved so that I could bake them while we're on the meeting today. And I'm just going to make the filling now. So I'm very sorry, I'm a bit technically challenged today too, and only have my laptop here. So we'll pop it like this. Don't know if you guys can see this recipe. So the first steps of the recipe are to make the filling, and I've skipped ahead and made the dough already. So we'll go back to the start and make the filling together. You can use anything you like as scroll fillings, but we're going to follow this recipe today. So I've got my baking tray ready to go. So we're going to do 200 grams of mixed cheeses. I've got feta, parmesan, and some pizza blend mozzarella. So I'm going to do 100 grams of shredded cheese. Just chuck it all over the bench. Good technical show here. Do some feta. Just cheapest Coles feta is fine. You're not making your own. And I've got a bag of parmesan here. Normally I would grate my own, but we're using what's at hand this morning. Okay. So I've got about 50 grams of cheese on my bench. Next, I'm going to pop the measuring cup with the lid on and chop this speed 8 for 5 seconds. Okay, transfer to a bowl and set aside. So grated cheese like that. If I was doing this at home, I would have just chucked the spinach in at the same time. But we'll follow the recipe today. Tear that off. Oh, it's such a mess. All right, I've got a not very economical, but a 60-gram bag of baby spinach because that's exactly what the recipe called for. It's obviously cheaper if you buy it, if you use a lot of it and buy it in bigger bags. I'm going to trust Coles that it is in fact pre-washed. And we're just going to chop this spinach as well. So 3 seconds to speed 6. And now all the recipe calls for us to do is to add that spinach in with the cheese, which you can see is very well chopped. And I'm probably going to need a spatula to get that out. So my favourite scroll filling is probably pizza scrolls. So you'd follow a similar method using ham, cheese, and probably some herbs, and spinach as well, I suppose, and then put some tomato paste on the dough when you roll it out. Okay. So the next steps of the recipe are to make the dough, which I've already done. So we'll skip through those. It was 300 grams of water, a sachet of yeast, 20 grams of olive oil, salt to taste, baker's flour, half a kilo, 500 grams. That's mixed, it's kneaded, it's wrapped in a silicone bread mat to prove. And here's one I prepared earlier. So the instructions are to transfer dough onto a silicone bread mat and work into a ball, wrap it up.
Just like what?
Yeah. So leave it again to prove in a warm place until doubled in size. So 30 minutes is what we've done. Now there's actually a video on this recipe that shows you how to roll out your dough into a rectangle. I'm not sure that needs lots of instructions. We'll do it together today. So I'll try and put this. Is that okay? Can everyone see my dough there?
Yep.
So I might just have to move this around. Sorry. I'm working in a limited space, guys. So got our dough on our thermomat. We need to gather it all back into a ball and get the air out of it, which you can do pretty quickly and easily. It's very smooth and warm.
It looks like a nice dough.
It does. It has proven very well. And I know that the dough recipe in this particular scroll recipe on Cookie Dough is a favourite, especially with busy mums and home bakers who are trying to knock these out really quickly. It's a very easy recipe. I just need to grab a rolling pin, sorry.
Have you got a French style rolling pin, Laurette?
Sorry, no, I have a Coles style rolling pin today.
Laurette's not at her house cooking for us today.
On the road, cooking at my other house. Sometimes I forget to bring things with me, like my tripod for my phone. So there's lots of lovely air bubbles in that. I've rolled that a bit hard. So just go gradually out into a big rectangle. You can go as large as your thermomat if you can manage it. I always found this was a good job that the kids liked doing, was this rolling out and the sprinkling of the filling part.
Gosh, the Thermomat makes it so much easier, doesn't it?
It does, and you don't need to have a heap of flour thrown everywhere, which makes a mess.
Mm.
I prefer to use a little bit of olive oil on my hands if dough is sticky. I find that a lot easier to work with and clean up rather than using flour to dust over things, because it just gets everywhere. It gets on your clothes, it gets under your nails, gets all over the bench, on the floor. So don't be afraid that you're knocking out too much air or you're being rough with it. There's plenty of air bubbles in there. And these scrolls go into a cool oven and do their second proof as the oven heats up. So you won't hurt it. All righty. So sprinkle dough with reserved cheese and spinach mixture and roll up along the longer edge into a Swiss roll. So sorry, I've lost my spatula. I'll give that a quick mix together. You can load your scrolls up with as much or as little filling as you like. What are some other, while I'm doing this, can we maybe pop in the chat some other ideas for fillings that you like or you've tried? Cheese and spinach is a great one. Sorry, not cheese and Vegemite is a great one.
I was going to say, right?
Yeah, really easy for little kids to eat if you're making for your kids or your grandkids for school or after school snacks. Cheese, just grated cheese and like Vegemite spread on the dough and topped with grated cheese is really, really easy and yummy. You could do tomato paste and cheese.
You got all your sweet ones too, like your cinnamon scrolls.
Yeah, I could go all day on those ones.
Ham and mustard.
Oh, yum. That's a great idea. All right. So now it doesn't need to be perfect. It's not a science. We're just going to roll our scrolls up like this.
Nutella.
Oh, yum.
Angela's got a good one, semi-dried tomato and basil.
Yeah, delicious.
Like a pesto?
Yep. If you're a gardener who's got massive amounts of basil you want to use up, you could definitely be, even if you just like making your own pesto, you could definitely do that. All right, I'm just going to roll the edges up and over so that I don't lose any filling like that. Now, we cannot use a knife on these Thermomats. We don't want to cut them because they will be ruined. You'll get little bits of the inside parts in your food, and you don't want that because they are silicone wrapped fiberglass. This was probably already talked about before I got here, was it?
Was it actually?
No, very good. So because I also forgot to bring a plastic dough cutter, we're going to use a knife, but I'm going to put this onto a wooden chopping board. I've got a wooden chopping board with a piece of greaseproof paper on it, which just makes it that little bit easier. I'm going to grab a knife.
Dough cutter.
Have you got
one of those?
Have you got dental floss or fishing wire? Because that does the same thing.
It sure does. And no, I am also not that organised.
Yeah, I heard dental floss like Danielle said too. I wasn't sure it was on the.
How do you get dental floss that's not mint flavoured?
True.
It doesn't leave the flavour.
Doesn't leave the flavour on the.
Really? I've never been given a because I didn't want mint flavoured scrolls.
Yeah, no, just a bit of fishing, bit of fishing line works too. There used to be a entrepreneurial bloke on Facebook who would who sold fishing line scroll cutters with like little handles on the end. And yeah, he'd post them. I don't know where he went, but he used to post them all over the country. Anyway, so I'm going to use an oven tray with a thermo baking mat on it. This is the old style that we have that was around long before the new tray liners arrived. All right. So very scientifically and delicately and all the rest of it, I'm going to put these onto, oh, these look really delicious. Sometimes I surprise myself, Courtney.
I don't. I'll believe in you, Laurette.
Oh, thanks. Many wouldn't. Amy said. All righty. I've got a couple here I didn't cut all the way through. So pop them there. So now that I know how much room I've got, I'll just spread them out a little bit more so they can, because they will blow up in the oven. So just look how perfect that one is, guys. You too can make this a night.
Make sure you get some photo, but you've got your phone.
Yes, well, I'm not using my phone to talk to you, so I have that available to me, don't I?
Oh.
All righty. So
did they smile?
they did. All right. So we're going to bake in, we're going to put it in a cold oven, set to 200 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes, and then they'll be ready to eat. Okay.
Excellent.
Thanks, guys.
Must be your turn, Di. How'd you go with your sound?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, and no echo. Yay.
Okay, good. Except I've turned the audio off the wrong one, so keep me spotlighted on both. I know that's annoying, but we'll work it out. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a cookie do session with me today as well, because I've done 2 bread loaves. So I've done Thermomumma off Recipe Community. I've done her white one, so that's proving and just about ready to go in the oven. And then I'm going to do the multigrain wholemeal as well. So I only have one of our beautiful jumbo bread tins. So the other one, the white one that I've already done, is going to be a cob loaf. So thought I'd be a little bit fancy. So we will start, and because I always forget with the beginning of this recipe that I have to put my seeds and my water in a bowl, my boiling water and my seeds in a bowl, and leave for half an hour before. It always happens 10 minutes before, so it doesn't matter. Proof's in the pudding. I never do it, so don't stress. So with our Thermomix recipe on here, I've brought it over from Cookie Do, which I will show you how to do. But they're very simple, very straightforward recipes with Miss Layla with her Thermomumma recipes. So this is adding my seeds and grains and boiling water to a bowl and set aside for half an hour, whatever. Then add water, sugar, yeast, flour, salt, bread improver, gluten flour. I'm going to say my wholemeal flour, soaked grains, everything just goes in the bowl, but in that order, and you knead for 9 minutes, and then we prove it. So
what's bread improver?
Bread improver. It's an interesting old thing. I don't know. It's a bit of magic powder that I don't use.
You can use
because I use apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
So basically it says 2 teaspoons of bread improver. I use 2 cupfuls. So I just tip my lid upside down, fill it up twice and chuck it in. My idea is it does, it works. I've tried it with and I've tried it without. A much fluffier, springy dough where you can, where you squeeze your bread and it puffs back up. Amazing. So definitely use it. I wouldn't say go and buy bread improver, because I must actually Google and see what's in it. But we've all generally got apple cider vinegar if you don't grab a bottle, because it's great. Sally will probably tell you, and amazing amount of things that it will do for you, and why you should have it in your cupboard. But yeah, super handy. So we'll jump on over. So everything in order. Please tell me, let me move this closer so you can actually see my screen. Is that better?
Yep.
So I'm going to sit over here to my little scales, and this comes up with my ingredients list. So I'll start with my 330 of water straight out of the tap. Every time, like 20 grams. We're usually so efficient, oh my gosh, with demos, and have everything pre-weighed. So this is a lesson, everybody. Make sure you check with your liquid because you can't take it back out. Okay, I need some sugar. Now for everybody also, I'm just going to give you a look. I don't know if anybody's touched on it. I was sort of in and out trying to work out my audio, but make sure when you're putting your sugar and your yeast in that you're not just dumping it straight inside the bowl. You want to make sure that you're not putting it right in the middle. So if I show you whilst I'm doing my yeast, if I can do it left-handed, this might be interesting. Ready? Oh my gosh. Not in the middle. If it hits that center of the blades, it's never going to mix. So if you do it around the edge of the bowl, you'll be sure that it will mix in nicely and you will have that beautiful bloomed yeast. 470 grams. So this says wholemeal baker's flour. This is where I do mix my white and my wholemeal flour. And remembering this is a jumbo loaf, so you're going to get a massive, 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 massive loaf of bread. God, my measurements are atrocious today. But it's because I skipped breakfast because I'm waiting to eat my bread.
What are you putting in now?
So this is my wholemeal flour. So I kind of, does anyone make sourdough?
Have, but I don't.
So I have always had a fiddle with my sourdough because my starter is a rye starter, but you can't use all rye flour because it's far too heavy. So this is what I meant when I said I have a fiddle with this recipe, because I kind of go, okay, 470 grams of white. Well, I'm going to do like 50 grams of wholemeal. The only thing is my wholemeal flour is not baker's flour. So the proteins aren't quite the same. So I make sure that my content is still mostly the white baker's flour. Bread improver.
I'll tell you a story about wholemeal bread. I asked the bakery here one day for the ingredient list in their wholemeal bread, and they said to me, oh, it's just white bread with brown food dye. And I was like, are you kidding me? No,
Wow.
they weren't.
They were serious.
They were serious.
That's ridiculous. Absolutely. Okay.
Buying
So-
white bread.
But it's not, you know, it's not. It's like white rice and brown rice, yeah? Does anyone know the difference? Okay, seeds are going in.
What
So-
seeds in?
So I did have them here. Where did I put them? I put pumpkin, are they pumpkin? Pepitas, sunflower seeds, linseeds, chia seeds. And then I'll put some sesame seeds on top. I feel like I'm missing one that I would usually put though. All right, so everything is in. Sorry about that. Now, beside your little scales button, you've got a blade. So if you hit that, it's going to come up with your main driving screen that we all turn our Thermomixes on with. But at the top, you've got manual setting and you've got mode. You come over to mode, it brings up your entire mode screen. So I'm just going to hit dough and wind it up to 9 minutes.
9.
And start it.
Minutes. That is a long need, isn't it?
It is a long need, and I just think it's because of the seeds too, because if anyone's made raisin bread, it's really hard to get them incorporated. So yeah, just with that need, it's important to keep it that long. I've never had it flop, so.
And does everybody know the safety message when you're kneading?
When your Thermomix needs you.
Your Thermomix needs you. So don't walk away because you don't want to come back and it's shimmied off your bench. Unless you've got a glider board, and they're really great at keeping the Thermomix still. How are you going, Sal?
Yeah, mine's just smelling. The weird thing is it still smells like bread, you know, like, which it does, but it's still got, I think I just checked. Hang on a minute. I still have 9 minutes to go.
Okay, well, I'll crack on with mine then.
Okay.
So mine's been resting. And it's beautiful. And I've somehow lost my recipe. Hold on. You know when my Thermomix turned off, you know when it turns back and says, would you like to resume your last recipe? Well, I accidentally hit no. So now I've got to find it again. I stupidly put my dough cover away. Okay, so spiffle through. Okay, divide dough into approximately 16 portions. So can you guys all see? So we're just going to, you know, you can be really accurate and like weigh it so that they're all exactly the same if you really wanted to. But I'm not going to do that today. I have been known to do that in the past. Okay, so you can make little ones, you can make big ones. So just very roughly making my 16 portions. So then I'm going to roll one out. And what I love about these new Thermomats is it's got the diameter on there, little circles. Can you guys see that or not? I can bring you a bit closer.
Yeah, we can see it.
You can see it? Okay, cool. So yeah, I've got my French style rolling pin. I absolutely love this rolling pin because I have a very small kitchen and it means that I can, you know, just use the end of it if I need to because I don't have all the space for a big, like if it is a big rolling pin, but you know, the ones with the handles on the edge, you just can't get into this space as easily. So yeah, if you had your tortilla press, you'd be able to just whack it in there, close it, and that would spread that all out beautifully for you. Okay, so not quite 25 centimetres, but anyway, and I should have had my fry pan preheated here. So we've got a fry pan over medium heat. So just you're putting that into you don't need to put any oil or anything on your fry pan. We're cooking it in a dry fry pan. Has anyone got anything else? I'll just give that a minute to heat up.
I've got a tip for you.
Yeah.
When I've done these previously, I just slap it straight in the pan like that, and you watch it in front of your eyes shrink, right, as it's cooking. Put some, just get a piece of baking paper and whack it on top of it now, and just roll it on it so it sticks, and then lift the whole thing with the baking paper and put it in the pan. Because the baking paper is stuck to it, it doesn't allow it to shrink back and get smaller in your pan.
Well, what one like this so we can see it shrink?
Yeah, yeah. Do the comparison.
Okay. It's moving, guys. Can you see my fry pan?
Yes.
I'm just going to sneak in here. Here's my bread in my springform tin. I'm going to chuck in the oven.
It's good.
That looks great.
Diana, what size tin is that?
That's the 23 centimeter pink springform on recipe on the Thermomix, the mix shop.
Thank you.
I'll pop the link in the comments. How's it going, Court?
Yep, so I've got one in. So you're giving it about a minute on each side. You'll see it start to puff up. So I'm just rolling out the next one. That one hasn't shrunk too much. I don't mean to mean, and they just go back to nothing. Probably haven't quite let my pan heat up enough.
Are you getting bubbles?
Not yet, but I think I'm rushing and my pan wasn't hot enough. The first one's always a dud, right? Like pancakes.
Always.
Yeah, no, definitely not hot enough. Anyway. How are you?
Another question for Diana. When you sprayed your thermo jumbo tin earlier, is that all you do to prepare your tin?
That's all I do. And I don't use the lid.
Because the last loaf of bread I did, I oiled it and it stuck to the tin so badly.
Ah.
See, I never made mine, never put oil on my bread tin. And I don't wash it. I just wipe it.
I don't wash mine either.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just do a quick spray just to be, I'm just to be safe kind of person.
Yeah, well, mine ended up with breadcrumbs.
Oh, no.
So I think the instructions actually say you don't need to oil or wash, but I do a little bit similar to what Di does. I just think it needs a little film, but I tend to also, at the end of a gluten-free loaf as well, there might be a sort of a layer of oil left, just a tiny residue, and I'll just get a paper towel and just kind of wipe out those crumbs ready for the next time. But I don't pretty much don't wash the tin either.
Okay, so you did the same for the round one, Diana? Just oiled it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank
and
you.
very lightly, because the rose gold tins on the mix shop are so non-stick, they're amazing. So yeah, very, very lightly with that one, because it's got that coating, as we should do when we read our instructions, leave it in the tin for 5 to 10 minutes, it kind of sweats off the edge. So you shouldn't have to worry about spraying the pink. There's my dough.
Oh, that looks good.
I'm just going to oil my spatula.
So
How
with
did
the-
that first one go, Court?
Pardon?
I was just asking you how that went.
Oh well, I'm just it's not how I would normally have these looking, but anyway, that's the first one. What you want to do though is you want to wet them, otherwise they'll go hard. So I just put them on a plate with a piece of foil over the top. Okay, now I'm waiting for your tips, Diana. I've got my baking paper. So what am I doing? Just putting it on like that.
Yeah, did you rolled it, essentially rolled the tortilla onto it upside down, yeah?
Oh,
Like when you, or did you just stick it to it?
Oh my God.
So on your thermomat, put the paper over the top of it and roll it so you've got it completely stuck to the baking paper.
Okay, well, we're doing that for the next one then. All right.
Okay.
That one's going. Okay, see, we got bubbles this time. Can you see them bubbling?
Yes.
What are you going to serve in these tortillas later on, Courtney?
I don't know. What I do normally do with them. Oh, hang on. Look, bubbles. Can you see that?
They look great.
There we go. And they puff right up when you turn them over. Sounds heaps better. But what I do normally is I put a piece of baking paper between them and I put them in the freezer. And then I just pull them out for the kids' lunches.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I do the same with the gluten-free pizza bases now too. It's so handy to be able to do a freezer stash. And then, as you said, whether it's for kids for lunches or your own, you know, if you're going to work, take your lunch with you, you can just pull one out as well. So handy.
But it is apparently National Fajita Day next Friday. So make your tortillas for your fajitas. Oh, I'm happy with that one.
Oh, wow. Awesome. There's also a dairy and grain-free wrap as well, but no one else is on here that's gluten-free. But just as out of interest, you can actually make a similar recipe that's really handy as well. So always versatile for all sorts.
What's Laurette up to?
I think she's disappeared. Hello, Laurette.
Sorry, I'm here. My dog's just trashing the house. Hang on. I'm just gonna hi. I'm just gonna grab these scrolls out of the oven and we'll see how they look.
I feel really awkward rolling this under baking paper. I'm ditching your tip.
Okay.
Other day.
All right, quick look at my scrolls. I'm going to pop them back in for another few minutes. They're not quite there.
They look delish though.
They do. Come back to me in 2 to 3 minutes.
So can I just, sorry, Courtney, you go.
Oh, I was just checking back in with Sal. Where's she up to?
Yeah, I've checked again. I didn't have my glasses on. It was 19 minutes, not 9. And so they've got 7 minutes to go. But I'm going to show you what they look like because I know they're already puffing up. And so I'm just going to give you an idea of what they look like now. But obviously, when they're ready. So beautiful. They're actually, again, like the burger rolls would buy. So they're pretty large in size. So I'm going to stick them back in for that last minutes.
They look amazing.
I know. And you wouldn't know, as I said, if we do burgers often and the family are here, we don't even mention the gluten-free because they don't need to know, right? And because they do make a big burger bun, then everyone's, and because of the protein in the almonds, it actually is more filling. So you can't actually, like, if you'd be doing really well if you ate 2 of those.
So the colour, so the skin from the almonds actually gives it the colour.
Yes, gives it
So it
kind of
makes
like
it
a
look wholemeal in
yeah,
some respects.
does, like a wholemeal look.
Yeah.
Yes,
Very clever.
yes.
Tell
There's
me. Oh shit! There goes my fire alarm.
Firemen will be coming for morning tea.
There's another recipe called sunflower and sesame bread rolls. It's from the barbecue book, a similar type of recipe, but a much darker outcome because, again, of the color of the seeds you're using, but another one that's really nice to use. And again, with that one, you can shape the dough into different styles. You could make a cob, or you could make hot dog rolls or rustic rolls or whatever shapes you want. They will mold to whatever you like.
I'm back. No fire brigade required.
So Diana, your cob, that was just a Thermomumma's white loaf, was it?
Yes, that's Thermomumma Jumbo White. So if you like, if we've got time, if Laurette and Sally, oh, here we go, Laurette. I'll share my screen in a minute.
Because I've done that one before, but I hadn't seen it done as a cob, that was all.
Oh, she's frozen. Where's she gone? Oh, I've frozen.
Oh,
No, she's frozen on mine too.
it's frozen. While she's coming back, spinach and 3 cheese scrolls are done.
They look amazing.
They look amazing, don't they? I think I
Wish
might.
we had smell a screen.
Oh, yes, they're
Lovely.
incredible. I think I might also make some ham and cheese ones for the family members who don't like green things today.
Try the mustard as well, Laurette.
Oh no, these people don't like mustard either, but I'll try them at home. Thank you.
These. I'm being referred to as these people.
Anyone else got any of your bread recipes that you've made already that you love to make? I know Rottie's got a good
bread. The Portuguese bread. Has anybody done that?
No.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, we have a surprise.
I made some yesterday.
Angela's had a go. Okay.
Where am I? Let me lift you back up out of my fry pan. Yeah, here's my Portuguese bread.
Did you do that in the Dutch oven, Courtney?
Yes, I did. And it's amazing. And I recorded cooking this yesterday too. So I'll edit that and I'll, put a link to it on the YouTube video and stuff that we've got here for this today. So you guys can watch that if you want to. But it is so easy.
Have you made it, Sal?
No, I actually don't have the Dutch oven. I have the other 2 of the accessories, which I love. So I haven't, but I'm looking at it. I almost made it with my son in Newcastle, but we didn't. But I will have to I have to definitely catch up and make that recipe. I think Angela's made it in the chat. She's had a go. Yep, easy to add flavors. Angela, did you add the olive to that bread recipe, or was that a separate recipe you did the other day? Oh, and Rosie's made it too. Oh no, hang on. Oh, I think Rosie's made it too. Oh, delicious. Now we just need lots of butter to go on our bread.
Oh, butter.
We've lost Diana completely, have we?
I think she might be trying to rejoin, maybe. Let me just see if I can see.
Diana was in the waiting room. I just let her back in.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Angela recently made it. She had a great photo, and she's saying, yeah, easy to add flavors. You added olives, rosemary, and wholemeal.
Is that to the Portuguese bread?
I believe so.
Oh, cool. What
Yum.
about focaccia? Anyone made focaccia?
No.
Pizza.
Hey,
I've done the Bianca Diana bread.
The Bianca bread's great.
Sorry, the Bianca pizza breads, yes.
I knew what you meant. Diana would love that you just put her name in a.
I'm sure she'd like to have her name tagged on it.
the focaccia is super simple to try out, guys. If you want to give something else a go, I mean, you've got a whole array of different recipes now. A cookbook of recipes new to try.
So can I share my
Right.
screen?
These classes, guys, it's just to give you a little bit of inspiration. We're just like you, fumbling our way through, learning new tips and tricks with our Thermomix. What's the worst thing that can happen?
I think you're a little bit more advanced than what I am.
Maybe a one recipe ahead of you, but that's about sometimes all it is. Sometimes we just practice once. But yeah, I mean, I love making my roll, so but it's again just giving you ideas of giving bread a go. So it's once you get the hang of it, it's like pizza bases. Once you've got those mastered, it's hard to go back to the shops to buy them. Anyway, I'm going to get mine out the oven.
Can't believe my smoke alarm went off. I'm going to blame my husband because when I pulled this fry pan out, I knew it wasn't clean as it could be. And he was the last to put something in it.
Always blame those husbands.
Yeah, he's not here to defend himself. So,
They look great, Sally.
I'm just going to show you. Obviously, a bit like a bread roll, when they're hot out of the oven, they do need to cool down. It says 5 minutes, pop them on a tray, 20 minutes before you can eat them, and they will be looking soft inside. But I'm just going to show you how when I do open it. That softness
You
does.
cut them straight away, Sal.
Pardon?
So you don't wait for them to cool, you cut them straight away?
No, I'm just showing you. Usually, yes, I would let them cool, but I'm just showing you the inside now, so you know. But absolutely, I've let them cool. And they're also awesome to freeze. Really, really good. So again, I'll often make a bigger batch and freeze them as well, so you can pull them out as you need to. And because they're so dense as well, another way is just to sort of slice them that way and then have them like sliced bread as well. But as I said, you can make that loaf into different shapes as well. And if you look on the cookie dough, there's 2 recipes. One is for a smaller batch, which is using 200 grams and makes 5, or the next one's the bigger batch. So again, you just got to make sure you've got, enough of the ingredients involved. So but yeah, that is one to try if you've got anyone gluten-free coming over that they say, I'm not sure, try these. I like this one because you're not proving like the beautiful chia and pepita bread makes a beautiful toast because it's got the crunch. But it also has a longer prep time. It's got to prove for a good hour. In fact, I prove the chia and pepita loaf for almost 2 hours, so it really rises to the top of my baking tin. Whereas this, you can have them prepped in less than 10 minutes for sure, in the oven for 45, and out they come. So it's a quick one to make for sure.
Hey, Diana.
Yes.
Are you, like, your cob loaf that you've made, are you actually going to turn that into a cob loaf with a filling, or are you just using it as a round loaf?
Well, probably just treat it as a round loaf because I should have done that yesterday. We did a big grazing board to watch the Matildas play last night. So after all the junk I had, and it wasn't junk, but for that abnormal dinner that we had last night, I really don't want to do it again today. So probably just a loaf that we'll slice up because we'll take it to my parents tonight to have with fresh pasta.
I was just going to say, not.
But how good was that game, Diana?
Oh,
Oh,
I
yes.
don't know about anybody else, but I cried.
It
I
was-
mean, I felt it was an amazing game, but I felt so sorry for the French in the same breath because to go that hard for so long, to lose by 1 point.
And they were all so tired. Like it was
They
such a long game.
They were
Yeah.
equal on both sides. They really were.
Yeah.
Great game.
Yeah.
Let's hope we can regroup to do it again.
They don't have long to recover is what I'm worried about.
Yes, I'm sure the coach will look after them. They got their doctors, they'll look after them well.
Rosie, feeling hungry right now. Great recipes.
Have you
Very
guys for other classes you might like to see?
Check out that bubble in that tortilla, Courtney.
Oh, shivers.
Diana's watching.
Angela's going to try. Oh, I need to put my glasses on. Hang on a minute.
I might ask if we can bookmark what other classes just for a minute. And I want to know, has anybody imported any recipes from Cookie Do? Do you know,
Imported to
Kat?
where?
Sorry, to Cookie Do from Recipe Community.
I have.
Awesome, Vicky. Has anybody else? Is that you, Rosie? You're about to talk, but you're on mute.
I think she has, Rosie. We've done a couple of chats about importing.
Okay. Well, I'll just show you quickly. I'm going to share my screen. Oops, maybe. Let's see if I can do it.
I did make you co-host, but I don't know which one you're trying to.
That's okay. I think I can do it here. Okay. So if I come over to my Safari, so can everyone see the Thermomumma Jumbo White Loaf?
Yes.
Okay, so this will be the same no matter what device you do it on, whether it's your phone, your iPad, or your computer. You will have that little button just to the right that says Add to Cookie Do. If you hit that, it will take you straight across to your Cookie Do. Quietly, please, boys. And then you're able to edit this. So if you want to turn around and add some extra ingredients, you hit your little pencil next to ingredients. If you needed to add some hints and tips, you can do that there as well. If not, and you're happy with it, you just hit done. So then when you go to look for it, if we open up our Cookie Do and switch over to My Recipes, you've got your little paintbrush one that says Created Recipes. If you hit that, there's my bread. So I've got, that's the multigrain one that I've done now, and then the white one which I've turned into the cob loaf. So go forth and get comfortable with that, because bringing recipes across from Recipe Community is amazing. Sally, what recipes have you got on Recipe Community that I could search?
Oh, do you mean the ones that I've made myself or the ones that I have imported just generally?
The ones that you've put onto Recipe Community.
Myself. Okay. I think if you type in zucchini donuts, that should be one.
Oh, I remember you doing that one.
Donuts like dough? Nut?
No, yeah, like you're doing now, DONUTS. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Oh. Okay.
And you presented that one to us at a team meeting.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Oh, it's not on there.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find mine.
I've got a vegan parmesan, a cashew parmesan.
Oh, yes, you do too, Courtney. There you go. There's mine there. So you just search up your recipe and you bring that up. Again, same thing. Hit your add to cookie do button. Now, the trick too, I just want to tell you all as well. See how I was saying about amending steps? If you actually go into these steps, see here, I'm going to amend step 3 in preparation where it says add flour, cocoa, baking powder, blah, 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 blah. Mix 10 seconds, speed 4. I'm going to show you something. Just in here, 10 seconds, speed 4. I've just hit the little blades button. I'm going to type in 10 here. And I'm going to change this to speed 4. Add my tick. And I'm going to save it. Please tell me that worked. I bet you it didn't. 10 seconds. Speed 4. Tick. Okay, see how you can see where I've changed it? It's underlined and in bold. I can delete that old one there and save it. Confirm. I just want to show you in that step, the preparation steps, you can see out of all of those, that 10-second speed 4 is bold and underlined. That there, once you bring it up on your screen, on your Thermomix, you can actually just hit that bold underlined part of the writing and it will still be preset into your Thermomix rather than you having to manually push your dials, set your time, set your temperature, set your speed. You just hit that and it will come up preset like any other guided recipe. So just by amending those little steps. So that was something that I found really great to be able to get on top of when it comes to importing your recipes. So I hope that helps somebody.
Very much so, thank you.
And if you've got a recipe in Cookie Do that you tweak, you can import a Cookie Do recipe back in and edit your tweaks.
Do you want me to do that?
Sure.
So if I do this again, start broadcast. Okay, so if we go back to Cookie Do, what's a good one, Court?
I was going to say, what was the question again? I was going to say you're in Cookie Do. I was going to say the from recipe community.
Oh gosh.
So we can scale these. So everyone knows, does everybody know that you can change your portion size here? So because that's got that little box around the serving size with 12 portions, you can hit that and change it. But some recipes don't have that, I think is what Courtney's saying. So I'm just going to try.
But like, just for example, like the creamy coconut chicken curry, I've brought that back in, but I've taken the chicken out and added sweet potato and lentils or something.
Ah.
You can
okay.
edit them.
So if we go, no, add to created recipes. And then Courtney's come along in here and got rid of the chicken. Or let's just say and what did you put? Lentils.
Sweet potato.
Oh, sweet potato. Oh, I don't know what I've done then. I've gone too far. But you're catching my, oh my gosh, I'm just deleting. I'm just deleting ingredients now. But you catch it on. You can go in there just by hitting add to created recipes, and then you can go and change that recipe as you please. And as I said, you'll find everything in created recipes. I'm going to delete them. And you've got up to Sorry.
So Diana, you're saying that you can transfer a recipe from Cookadoo into created recipes and
Amend it.
and edit it. Okay, thank you.
Yep. And you've got up to 100. You can, I'm not sure if you can see, I wish I had a little pen that I could circle, but just above the Thermomumma white jumbo, you've got 40 out of 100 recipes. So you've got up to 100, but if you've made something and you don't like it, get rid of it. Like I've got the white there again, so I'm going to delete it. Alrighty.
I'll have to talk to you around Easter time for hot cross buns because I have failed for 2 years with those.
Ooh, we love doing a hot cross bun class. Maybe that's one we can do next April.
Definitely.
Any other ideas for anything else that, not to say hot cross buns you can make any time of the year.
Cream buns.
What was that one?
Cream buns.
Cream buns. Like the Boston bun?
No, like the cream buns I used to have at school at lunchtime. You're all too young, you don't remember.
Yeah, so it'd be like a sweetbread dough and cut
like
the
your
cut
buns.
the top open, like but in a
Cream
bread
and
roll
jam.
shape.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh.
packed together so the edges are square, cut in the middle, put some cream and jam in the top.
And dust it with icing sugar. Well, that's spot on, Laurette.
Laurette, you should put that on Recipe Community.
Challenge accepted, Laurette.
Right. I'll get that up this week and we'll get the link out to you, Vicky, to load into your cookie dough.
Oh, good on you.
Very much goes with the retro that we've been talking
How many
about.
of your scrolls are left, Laurette?
I've
The family.
only eaten one and I am
No,
to the
I'm
brim.
not talking you, I'm talking the rest of the family.
Oh no, no one else has eaten them yet.
Will there be a stampede?
There will be.
And back on my rolls as well, Angela had a good point. She's made the grain-free rolls as I made them with the 3 egg whites. Well, another less waste tip to use them is if you're making hummus and you've used your chickpeas in the hummus, then that extra liquid left over is called aquafaba. And Angela's made these rolls with, instead of the egg whites, using the aquafaba.
Oh.
Apparently work very well.
So that's the liquid from the chickpeas.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So you keep that, strain it aside and use that. And it makes a good pisco sour. I've done that. So rolls or cocktails, you could try one of that each. And I know Angela's also used them for the meringues. There's an aquafaba meringue. So you can bake them to us as an option for an egg-free meringue.
I'm down to my last one.
Woohoo.
How many have you got, Courtney?
16.
Wow.
Awesome.
I've got a child joining me now. Yeah, so here we go.
Right.
And they look fabulous.
So yeah, the tip is to let them sweat a little bit so they don't go, you want them to stay really soft.
Loaf is out.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Where do you live again, Di?
I forgot to cut it on the top.
Oh, like score it.
Yeah. So I think it could have come up higher had I remembered to do that.
What have you got in your lap there, sorry, Laurette?
A miniature dash hound named Pepper.
Oh,
It's snuggling. It's snuggling.
She's the helper.
So can I just ask, what's everyone feel like they've learned today? Have you taken away something, a tip from today?
Lots of tips, thank you.
One thing that we didn't talk about was like all the ways to prove your dough. Like we just wrapped it up in the Thermomumma, but you guys got to.
Yeah.
I brought a air fryer as a 31-litre one, but it had a bread proofing mode on it.
Oh.
So I just put it in there.
Clever.
That's clever.
Lots of new ovens have bread proving modes on them as well, where you can gently warm. And you can, if you don't have a thermomat, my favorite way to prove your bread is just to leave it in the Thermomix bowl. If you don't need it for anything else immediately, just leave it in there with the lid on and it stays really warm. The metal holds the heat and it'll rise right up to the lid. And then you can just knock the air out once it's done.
Your thermoserve is a good one to keep dough warm too.
Yep.
I've seen people go and put their dough in their car.
Especially in the winter. And Danielle said the microwave with the door ajar, just the warmth from the light. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good work.
You could even sit it in your varoma above some boiling water. Lots of ways to get a bit more warmth into your dough. So we're still waiting for your bread, aren't we, Di?
Yeah, but it's in the tin. It's proving. So I have my thermoserver with my hot water, and that's my seeded in there. I just wet the top and put my sesame seeds on there. So I've got that sitting over the top of my thermoserver with the hot water in it and a tea towel over the top.
That's another tip. If you like a really crusty bread, get a water bottle and spray it with water before you put it in your oven. And even like spray some water into your oven to create a bit of steam.
Or a bowl, like a oven-safe bowl
Yeah.
underneath with water in it.
Or another trick that I learned from Quirky Joe is on your oven tray, which often is underneath the rack with your bread. Beforehand, you pop some ice cube. When the oven's heated up, you throw in some ice cubes onto that tray, and then that kind of melts and gives this quick steam effect. And then when the bread goes in, it then helps that crust.
Yeah, right. Oh, very good. Well, that's probably it from us, is it? We're not waiting for anything else. Sorry, I got very head down into my tortillas there and missed a lot of what you guys were sharing.
Is Diana going to show her bread?
Oh, I did.
Oh, she's just not spotlighted, Court, so some people might have missed it.
Hold on.
Up in the
There it
gallery.
is. So nice and brown on the base.
Oh,
But yeah, it may have jumped up
can't
a bit
see it.
higher if you'd scored it.
If I scored the
There it is.
top, what have I done?
I just
You're
spotlighted.
right.
Let me turn this other audio off. I don't know what I've done here.
That's fine. We can hear you fine.
We can see you and hear you.
Okay, so yeah, nice brown bottom. Because all I did was I treated it like a big bread roll. So normally with my bread rolls, I tuck the top around to underneath to smooth that top bit. So that's why you can see those creases underneath, because that's where I pulled it all to create the nice smooth top. But
Giant bread roll.
it's a giant bread roll, isn't it?
You could like that with a big giant burger and then cut it up like a pizza.
family would love that.
Imagine, my kids would lose the plot. Imagine the big burger patty, and I could put like half a lettuce on there and some Big Mac sauce. I don't know what to do.
Serve it up for dinner for the whole
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you, ladies.
Our pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks very much for coming, everyone.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you for all coming along. Can't wait to see what your recipes are going to look like now.
Yes,
Yeah.
tag us in your veg.
You've inspired me to go and put a loaf of bread on.
Excellent. Our job here is done.
That's it.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.